What's up, everybody? It is Phil from Zaid Comics. I am the writer and co-creator of Magic Cop, which is in demand now on Indiegogo, and I'm just one half of the two best-looking brothers in all of comics. And today, we're doing another comic review. This one's a little late. I caught on to it at the end of last week. It came out 2 weeks ago, and really excited about it. I saw some glimpses of it online and didn't know what it was from. And it is Blackest Night from the Tales of the Dark Multiverse. So excited about this one because it has, I'd say, probably my favorite artist in the mainstream right now. Kyle Hotz is doing the art for this one, and I've seen Kyle's stuff for a long time online, and the first thing that I saw of his that caught my eye is this Lobo piece he put up on just online, Twitter and Instagram. Instantly followed him and tweeted at him like, dude, you gotta get a Lobo miniseries in you, because that just brings me back to the day of the early 90s, the incarnation of Lobo, biker Lobo, badass Bisley Lobo. And his inking is amazing. We'll look at it. The way he inks capes is so, like, it's like a signature of his. You could tell if he did a cape, that's him, man. That's Kyle. And written by Tim Seeley, fellow Chicagoan. I met him a number of times, talked to him. He's given me a lot of awesome advice for writing comics, getting into writing comics. Tim Seeley's a really cool guy and has written some good stories that I really enjoy. I really enjoyed his Imaginary Fiends. That was awesome, and he's everywhere. He's writing for a bunch of different companies right now, which is really, really cool. Props to Tim for doing that and getting his work out there. Really, really awesome. So let's just go into it. Switch it up here, and Tales of the Black Multiverse, or the Dark Multiverse, sorry. This is seemingly is going to be an ongoing series, each being a one-shot in its own story of the darkest time in an era. So this is basically a retelling of the Blackest Night event that happened, years ago, with the Black Lanterns taking over. But what if the Black Lanterns won and took over all of the DC universe? Basically, all the superheroes are Black Lanterns, and Tim tells this very well. He basically has this character here who is telling the story, and because this guy has seen all different dimensions and possibilities, this is the darkest of the Black Lantern story. And he kind of shortly retells the Blackest Night storyline of what happened. The lanterns, Sinestro giving up the White Lantern power to the Lantern Corps across the whole spectrum so they could best the Black Lanterns and kill Necron, I believe his name was. But in this story, Sinestro does not. He keeps the White Lantern power for himself and fails. All of the Lantern Corps gets turned to Black Lanterns, including the Justice League and the Teen Titans, as we will see. And the last guy alive is the main man, Lobo. Now, this is where I get hype. These are the panels that I saw Kyle working on Twitter. He was drawing, profile shots of Lobo. I'm like, oh my God, he's doing something. He's just not doing these sequentials for fun, right? And it was this story, and I am the happiest main man fan ever, because I really think this is one of the best Lobo stories we've gotten in 10 or more years, man. This is awesome. So he's the last man standing, the last person in the DC universe. Him, Dove, as we will see from Hawk and Dove, and Sinestro, the last ones that are fighting for justice, I would say. And you wouldn't think that Lobo would be one of those guys. We have the awesome action shots from Lobo, and we see Sinestro meeting him. So basically the story is Lobo was sent by someone to bag Dove and take her alive someplace, and Sinestro is kind of intervening because he has seen their life signatures. And it's you have these awesome emotional moments where, you know, Dove is here fighting against the Teen Titans, her old friends, but they're Black Lanterns and trying to turn her, even though she has the, you know, the this basically power of hope that she's instilled with, this pureness where she can't be turned. And there's this awesome scene where they try to turn Lobo, but he can't be infected, and has this awesome line talking about how he's gotten hyper AIDS, or not AIDS, hyper herpes from this super dominatrix twice, and he chose to reject that from his body. So Tim Seeley kind of you know, solidifying that Lobo can't die at all. You know, he's been banned from heaven and hell, and he chooses, like all the Zarnians, could choose to take the injury or choose to reject it. So anytime he's injured, he could just choose to heal back up from it, which we will see later in this awesome story. So, fun little Easter egg that Tim put in here. We have a new vehicle that we see Lobo rides in, and it's actually like a car. It's an intergalactic hot rod car, whatever you want to call it. And Sinestro asks what that is, what's that monstrosity, and he says her name's Ramona. It's this really cool, like, death hot rod, super long. The whole thing is basically an engine, very shades of early Simon Bisley stuff. But he calls it Ramona, and why is that important to the lore of Lobo? Now, if we look back in the past, there's a character in Lobo's life, in his history, named Ramona, and I think this is her first appearance here in Lobo's Back #1. As we can see, Ramona's bail bond and unisex hair salon. And this is Ramona. She is basically a long-running kind of boss for Lobo, who runs this bail bond hair salon, and sometimes a really good friend. Sometimes you can infer that it's a love interest, but she's a big part of Lobo's history and life throughout the 90s, and actually so much so as in Lobo Death and Taxes, which I think has some of the best covers in Lobo's history. This is a Keith Giffen, another Alan Grant book. Of course, Lobo's Back was the same. Now, Alex Horley did the interiors, and we can see Ramona here in Death and Taxes, and they actually kill her off in this series. So Tim obviously taking a nod from that big Keith Giffen, Alan Grant team up from this character designed basically by Simon Bisley, and put into the big backstory for Lobo, bringing her back as a little homage, Lobo naming a vehicle after her. And I think that was really cool, showing a little bit of the sweeter side of Lobo, as we do get to see in this story of the Blackest Night, and also showing that friendship means a lot to him, because he seems like a guy that doesn't have a lot of friends, but when he does keep one, that it means the world to him. Story. I don't want to give too much away, even though I'm showing off a lot of the pages, because Kyle's art is awesome. You guys need to read this. We'll keep going, though. They need to get to this planet where Dove is being, you know, collected as a bounty. You know, Lobo is being paid to bring Dove to this planet, and in the end, it's to save everyone. These awesome close-ups on Lobo and breaking through this glass. Kyle's art is so magnificent, and you know, Tim's really captured. You know, I'm also harping on Lobo so much because I'm such a huge fan, but Tim's really captured and brought back the personality of this guy. He's not a dumb guy. He's super intelligent, and is when has his mind set on something, he's going to get it done. He's got the one-liners, he's very witty, and when it's time to kick some ass, he's right there. One of my favorite lines here is when they're confronted by the new gods, which Sinestro has a hard time taking out and, you know, putting through this kind of reanimation transformation with his White Lantern, or White Ring and his Black Ring. He can't do that because they're gods, and they're Black Lantern new gods. Lobo's just gonna cut him up. He's ready to throw down, and he says, "Forget the crap. I'm gonna be, if I'm gonna be led into a trap, I'm taking some trophies. Starting with Big Barda's head, it would look good on the front of my car, on the hood of my car, which is awesome. Just these lines building character with Lobo, a character we haven't seen really portrayed well in the past 10 years. I think currently Adam Glass is doing a pretty good job on the Teen Titans run with Lobo and Crush right now. This last issue really saved face with that. I thought that was really good. But this is, this is your balls to the wall, slice and dice Lobo. And we get to Mr. Miracle. We have Mr. Miracle here. He's another one that is still alive. Of course, you have this tragedy he's rolling around with because he's trying to bring Big Barda back, his one true love. He's loved her forever. They've been in a relationship, and he's called Dove here to basically kind of channel an energy from the source wall through her to bring everyone back to life. I could keep going on, but man, I don't want to spoil it for you guys because this is the blackest, the darkest, the cruelest possibility for this story to go through. I just want to keep going on a little bit more because there's this awesome moment where we actually we get to the source wall. I just wanted to highlight how memorable and recognizable the way Kyle draws capes and smoke. It's like his signature. Like you could tell, like he signs every wrinkle with his signature. It's immaculate. I love it. And those are the things that I really love about artists, comic book artists, in specifically. Now I don't have an eye for manga or artists in that medium. Maybe I don't see it, but in American comics, you have these iconic artists that have a specific style, do one thing a really, really unique way, and you could tell as soon as you see that thing, you're like, oh, that's Kyle right there. And I'll highlight right here on Mr. Miracle's cape, on Dove's cape, on the smoke in between the source wall here with all of these old like Titan, Prometheus gods stuck solidified in the source wall. Is a beautiful double page spread here. And we see a badass Darkseid, and I'm going to leave it at that. Darkseid is now basically an avatar for Necron, and we get an awesome fight scene between these two parties. Lobo's kicking ass, Darkseid is vaporizing people, and it's awesome. So you guys need to pick this up. This is, like I said, Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Blackest Night. We'll see who's on the next one. I'm not sure if Kyle is going to be drawing it, if Tim is going to be writing it, or if they're going to go with a whole different team, which would be kind of cool. Then again, it would be awesome to see these guys working together. Kyle is such a great sport. I talk about creators that are really memorable. I know that Dan Fraga wants to have him on his stream soon, so check out Dan Fraga's YouTube channel. I believe it's either Dan Fraga or Fraga Boom. Oh no, actually it's Couch Doodles. Strike that. It's just Couch Doodles. Check Dan's show out because Kyle might be on there talking about some awesome some DC stuff. This is one of my, if not my favorite comics that's come out from DC in a long time. So check it out. This was the last one my comic book shop had. If not, you could probably order it in their second printing. It's around 48 pages, I want to say. And I read it late at night, and I was so enthralled. My eyes didn't get tired reading it. I just had to finish it. I was enjoying myself every step of the way. Maybe because I'm biased for the character, but I mean, on the back, look at this. The ending is very important for Lobo, even though this is not canon, but you could tell Tim loves the character and all of these characters. Kyle too, the way he draws them. There are 3 different inkers on here. The only gripe I did have with it is I was able to tell when one of the inkers, a page where he stopped inking, and then the next page, another inker picked it up. It wasn't seamless. I was definitely able to tell you're going to get that, but it was the first time, probably because I'm older now, that I actually noticed a difference in an inker everything else is awesome. It's brutal, it's bloody, it's everything you want from a Lobo comic, and the portrayal of Sinestro is great too. There's some really good intimate moments there with his psyche and getting into his how he thinks about the actions he's chosen, because basically it is his fault for all of this. He was selfish and didn't think anyone else was powerful enough to have a white ring. So let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. I really do appreciate it. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. I love doing these comic reviews and bringing them to you. I also do interviews on the channel. Check it out. Hit that bell for notifications so you know when we're going live by interviewing a new comic creator. And we will see you next time. Peace. Have you guys heard about Magic Cop? It is an 88-page graphic novel that my brother and I are creating. I am the writer. He is the artist. It mashes Miami Vice with the monsters and magic of Halloween Town, following Iggy Cromwell, a new magic cop on the scene, a wizard with his partner Wolfman, as they investigate a murder of a mermaid prostitute. So go on over to Indiegogo. We are in demand right now, and we will be for a while. Take a look at the book, and if you can back the book, you'll be getting it full, thick comic with awesome behind-the-scenes cover by Elliot Fernandez. For our ash can and a lot of goodies. We are just barreling down the stretch goals, and cannot wait to see what we bring to you guys. So check it out. Thanks, everybody.